couple of things have happened in my life that I want to share with you. And maybe you have moments like this yourself. Maybe you have a time in which you have remembered something that really happened, really was critical in your life, critical in your development, something that happened during the course of your perhaps your youth or what have you, something that really changed things for you, something that really made a difference. When I was in college years ago, I noticed my mother had a in her little utility. The joke was we called it a utility room because one of us could not say it. I forget who. And she had these soaps, and one of them was something called Amway. I said, "What is that?" It was Amway. What is Amway? Well, you don't buy it at a store. You buy it, from other people. Oh, really? You sell it? People. Yes. You know that lady who comes here? Oh, yes. She's the Amway lady. Oh, she's the Amway lady. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about Amway. I didn't know that it was a. They called it a pyramid scheme. It wasn't really. It was just a sales thing, like anything else, like Tupperware or whatever. So I was talking to her. I said, "Well, I don't understand what. So you buy this from somebody?" Yes. I said, "Well, what if I did it? What if I were your the dealer and you bought it from me and we can get a discount or whatever it was?" She goes, "That's a great idea." I said, "Okay." I don't know. I was very entrepreneurial, very, very. I was anything and everything. I've always been like that. I've always, if I want to try something different, okay. So I did. Lo and behold, I joined this or whatever this group. So I said, "Okay, here's my thing. Thanks a lot." And they said, "You want to go to one of our meetings?" I said, "A meeting? We're going to go to a meeting." I said, "A meeting of what?" "A meeting of Amway, fellow travelers." "Amway?" "Yeah." "Why don't you come with us?" "All right." I had nothing to do. So I went. There were two events I went to. One was at Curtis Dixon Hall in Tampa. The other, and at the same particular time, next to us, there was some type of I don't know what it was. It was like the Communist Party or seriously. I'm not kidding you. Next to us, there was this part in the back where they had these meeting rooms. And then there was this one, and I walked in. I never saw anything like this before in my life. What I saw was Americanism, patriotism, Frank Capra, flags, evangelical movement, a cult, a religion. I never saw anything like this in my life. Music, pumping, excitement. I'm wondering, what are they excited about? What I said, am I missing something here? I don't understand what I'm missing. What exactly am I missing? So we did the Pledge of Allegiance, we did this. Yes, America, Amway, American Way. And this is the DeVos family. Remember Rich and Jay DeVos, and they were this, and they started it. And whatever DeVos was, the head of education, Amway, and then that I think they changed the name later on. But anyway, it was a direct marketing thing. Okay. The first people to speak was Bob and something Andrews or something Andrews. I think this was 40. Oh my God. 46 years ago, maybe 47 years. I don't know. So they said, "Hi, everybody. We're so glad to be here and we're excited. I'm Jim, this is Betty, we're Anderson, and we're excited." And so, what are they excited about? The guy next to me says, my handler, he said, "Those are directs. They're direct." I said, "They're direct what?" No, they're direct. They have so many people under them. Under them. It's like the mob. It's like they got a crew. Yeah, they got so many people under them. And because of this, they're a direct distributor. I said, "But you see that guy over there? He's a double diamond." Oh my, sounds like a ski course. Really? Double diamond. Oh my God. It's fantastic. I found out that this was when cassettes were big. The Andrews said, "We have our tapes in the back." And they had their books, how we did it, how you can go direct. Here's motivation. They had Zig Ziglar, all these. And I loved the power. I learned the power of positive thinking, of religion, of faith, of motivational speaking. And the Andrews, basically, I think they made their money selling tapes. People had them. At one time, I remember I got in somebody's car and he had the tape. We had cassettes then. He had the cassette in the car, and he turns it on, and lo and behold, there's the Andrews. And one poor guy said, I joined Amway, and they told me that I to really show my good faith, I should just buy all the products, because when people call me to buy this stuff, I can't call my direct and then wait for him to provide it. I should have all of my stuff there. So this poor guy completely cleaned out his entire garage and bought everything. I don't know. Some people the products themselves were very good, but it doesn't really matter. I saw this. I saw the flag. I saw religion, faith, dreams, money, wealth, prosperity, the American way. Then later on, there was a guy in Tampa at a gym. His name was Hector Morales, greatest guy in the world. And we all were into working out and everything. And I would talk to Hector. And Hector got into at one particular point the charismatic movement. I said, what's the charismatic movement? This was an offshoot of the Catholic Church that the Catholic Church did not like. Not Opus Dei, but it was different. Holy rollers, hell, and he went, and it was the Holy Spirit, and once you went in, you got involved in this. And there was one I went to one time years ago. And remember, I'm not believing any of this stuff. I'm there just to observe. I'm learning. This is part of my formative years. And I went and I saw this. Hector told me this story. It was so funny. He said, they told me, now listen, be careful. When you go there, don't be surprised if you feel something really, the spirit of the Holy Spirit, and it's really wild. And I'm just telling you, you're going to feel it, really. And he was just such a wonderful guy, and he was very, very susceptible to suggestion. He says, really? He says, oh, yes. Really? Yes. Okay. All right, I'll go. Wow. So he went, he goes, but don't remember what I'm telling you. Remember what I'm telling you. I know. I'm going to see something. You better believe it. So be careful. So anyway, and they're doing, hey, whatever. And anyway, all of a sudden he feels his right leg go back like something is pulling it. And he slipped, they have those little, and by the way, they have these, sometimes they go to, the churches don't allow this. They kind of went to different like barns and stuff to have this. So whatever the configuration was, his knee slipped off and he was hanging onto this chair and he started to yell. And somebody looked and interpreted that as the power of the Holy Spirit. Turns out he caught his foot when he was kneeling on a woman's, the loop or the handle of her purse. And she was pulling it to try to get it off his foot. And he knew obviously something. He says, hey. And then he realizes, no, you don't understand. He goes, no, we understand. Yeah, in the name of Jesus. These are Catholics. So he was laughing. She was laughing. They didn't understand it, but that was the Holy Spirit to them. Doesn't matter. I saw the power. Then in 1980, I was slain in the spirit by Ernest Angley. Evangelical Christian folks were my heroes. Again, I don't believe this. I'm interested in the psychology. I want to know the psychology of how this works. It was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life. So I went to Curtis Hickson Hall again, and I could not believe what I was seeing. I could not believe what I was seeing. I saw people that were showing up in wheelchairs, ambulances, people all over. You hear just boom, 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 getting ready, and the music. He had a group of men that were singing. This was his musical group. By the way, great musicians. He had a group of men singing. What do you think the name of his group was? Ready for this? The Singing Men. Ernest Angley, yeah, in the name of Jesus. Robin Williams would do that, baby. Can you, that Reverend Angley, my daughter can't hear. She can't hear. She has the spirit of the devil, Lucifer. And he would put his fingers in the kid's ear like this, like, what? And the kid's like, what are you doing? And he would go like this, and he would say, "Foul, deaf spirit be gone, yay!" and scare the hell out of the kid. Kid would tip back, oh, yay, and he would dance, and people would scream. And then he got up and say, baby. Now I'm not mocking, please. But I'm trying to describe what happened. He said, "Say, baby." See, she can hear. And I was thinking, wait a minute. I don't know if she can hear or if she's deliberate. I think we need more diagnostics. I took this thing a little bit too more. I was far too clinical in my faith. But anyway, about that, I don't know. Then we said, "Yes, Reverend Ainsley." And blacks, whites, but it was the South. See, don't forget Florida. It was, "My husband has sugar diabetes." Foul diff diabetes, sugar diabetes. Yeah. And I said, "No, wait a minute. How do we know he doesn't have it now? Wait a minute. Hold it. What is he not insulin resistant anymore? What happened?" Far too clinical on my part. I realize this. But I said, I want to be slain in the spirit. So my high school buddy, that were buddies to this day, my brother, he was the closest thing of him. Well, I have a number of brothers. But this guy and I were so close. So there was a woman, a Jewish woman named, I'm going to say her name. Her first name was Sophie. She's no longer with us, of course. She was part of Jews for Jesus. And we were there. So we're on the floor of Curtis Hickson Hall. And we're lined up. Now, let me tell you what happened. Listen to me. He walks down the hall, the aisle, and he says, "Think of Jesus." And he has the worst toupee you've ever seen in your life. "Think of Jesus. Think of Jesus. Think of Jesus." And he could have just gone row to row, done this slain in the spirit, that kind of thing, and just gone like that. No, he walked past each row and then did it because he wanted to set this pre-hypnotic, whatever it was. Think of Jesus. Think of Jesus. Think of Jesus. Think of Jesus. Oh my God. Think of Jesus. All right. Okay. Now I'm thinking to myself, is there anything to this? Is there anything to this? Do you think maybe there could be anything to this? I do not know. But I'll give it a shot. I was fascinated. And I'm looking around. And you should have seen before, I forgot to tell you, the buckets. They were running up with money. Oh, God, it was beautiful. And the music and the evangelical and black, white, but it was the South. So as I saw this, I'll never forget this. There are some things I will never forget in my life. When women would fall back and be, slain in the spirit, this is when he says, "Yay," in the name of Jesus. Yay. He would touch your head and they would get this look of shock and then they would just pass out. They had men in tuxedos who would escort you down because they didn't want you just keeling over. And then I'll explain the escorting down in a moment. And then there was somebody who had, it looked like, imagine little tablecloths, tiny tablecloths. He had his arm out and he had them over his arm. I'm thinking, what is this? And when a woman fell, if she had a dress, he would take one of the tablecloths and he would lay the tablecloth on her so that her dress wouldn't be hiked up. I swear to God. They've done this before. They had this down to a pass. That interests me more than anything. The guy who there's got to be a name in the business for it. The waiter or something. So anyway, my friend, there's Sophie, my friend, and then me. And I'm looking down. Here comes Ernest Ainsley. After he said, "Think of Jesus," and there are people it looks like, I'm sorry, forgive me, Jonestown. There are people on the ground. One guy was doing, beep, 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 like doing a curly. You think I'm exaggerating, and I realize that, and I recognize that, and there's nothing I can do. But he was making this curly, beep, 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 kind of a sound. And people were kind of shaking. I mean, because it was a combination of pre-hypnotic suggestion, the moment, and again, this is my education. I'm thinking, I love this. This is psychology. This is who we are. This is why we will never advance as a civilization. If we can be taken over by the invisible like this. So anyway, here he comes. My friend, I tell my friend to this day, when they did like this, his eyes kind of not rolled back, but just kind of his head, and but it wasn't he didn't collapse. He kind of like tipped. I thought that was interesting, but I didn't have time to analyze this. Sophie, boom, down. She had no dress, but she got the tablecloth. He came to me. Listen to this. He went like this. Nothing. I looked at him. He says, "Are you saved?" I said, "No." "Raise your hand." I did the Sinner's Creed. And the Sinner's Creed, I forget what it was. NG. And they're looking at me like, who's this guy? Why is he's not saved? Well, what? What are you doing? I mean, seriously, they're looking at me like, well, what? How, how did he get in here? Okay, then he went like this. Now, this time he pushed me back a little bit. Now, imagine here's your foot and here's your heel. I went back like this on my heel. That's when these two fellows grabbed me kind of by the elbow, not grab me, but kind of escorted me down. And I immediately shot back up and said, no. I'm not saved. I I don't know how to prove I'm not saved. Rattle off a series of expletives or something. At one particular time, he says, for those of you who are slain, oh no, you are victims of alcohol, stand over here. Are you on drug abuse? I'm going to go over here. If you were just royally effed up, okay, can you be more gamblers? I know people were like walking around. What if we have two? Can we straddle the two? Years later, I was at the University Square Mall on Fowler Avenue. And it was one of those ones where I had to park real far. This is a day where you would drive around an hour and a half just to get two spaces closer. So I'm in the middle of Casa de Carajo, as we say, in West Tampa. And who's there getting out of a bus or whatever it is? Ernest Ainsley. With the tube and the whole bit. And I said, Reverend, I know you don't remember me. I said, but I attended one of your functions and was personally slain in the spirit twice by you. I got the Sinner's Creed and that. He says, are you saved? I said, no, it didn't take. But I have never seen anything in my life like that. Later on, when I was in talk radio, I had any evangelical preacher who would come through the era, I'd have him on my show. David Paul was my favorite. Why am I saying this? Why am I talking to you about this? What does this have to do with you? Amway, charismatic churches, Ernest Ainsley. Mind control. The group. The individual and the group. The individual who joins loses all sense of connection, whatever it is, and then is a part of the group. I hate groups, by the way, for the most part. I don't go to concerts and things like that, but I always look to see anytime there is a group. Anytime there's a group of anything, I look and I see, look what's happening. Look at what happens. Look at the people. Look at the conservatives. Look at the Trump rally. Look at the folks who are, I saw one today. I tweeted about this. Again, still pushing the direct energy weapon theory about, Lahaina, based upon nothing. Just somebody saying something. But that's not it. It's the group of people who say, oh, yes. People who love the idea of the miracle, and then those who join collectively say, yes, this was a miracle. Well, because they say it's a miracle. A miracle? Human beings are a sad and a lonely and a very, very complicated group. We are so susceptible, both singularly, but even collectively. People are always the subject of the con men. If you have a daughter, you must understand that there are men out there, boys, who are trying to get in your knickers, and they're going to tell you everything they need. It's part of the con. You are conned from Santa Claus. You are conned your entire life from one thing or another. And more importantly, what we do not satisfy you as an individual, we will then hit your group collective part. You want to be a part of a group, of a battalion. And the greatest example, is people who is the European soccer fan with songs chants, sports, but nothing like that. Jerseys, Americans too, to an extent. The most tribal, I look at this, it is the most tribal, ridiculous nonsense I have ever seen. I still can't believe what I'm saying. Can't. I see individuals, it's the U.S. Open, so that's individual. You don't have teams, that's la-di-da and all that kind of stuff. But I got to tell you something. It is the most incredible. By the way, U.S. Open story very quickly. One time I went to years ago. I think it was my first colonoscopy. I had all these tests. I had like a stress test, a thallium stress test. This is a radioactive. This is to see how the heart functions. I mean, I had everything. And I was on the air and I was talking about the colonoscopy and blah, 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 and the thallium test and do all this stuff and the colonoscopy. We were at the U.S. Open. We were in a box. It was a suite, a little tiny box where you could watch this. It was okay. It was interesting. It was in the main Arthur Ashe. It was really something. It was very, very nice. Very nice. But not for me. But it was nice. But as we were walking, as we were approaching, this cop comes out of nowhere. Now listen to this. This is Elviser. Comes out of nowhere, this cop, and he says, "Excuse me. Did you have a procedure recently?" I said, "Oh, boy, the word goes around, I'll tell you. A guy has a colonoscopy." He goes, "No. Did you have any kind of procedure? Any kind of radioactive?" I said, "I had thallium." He said, "I knew it." He goes, "Why?" He said, "My machine went off." He had not a Geiger counter, but he had a radiation detector. This guy was so far off. I'm walking around giving off whatever it was, radioactive decay. Remember that, honey? He picked me out. It was the wildest. You're picking me up. He goes, "Yeah, look. Holy." I'm not done yet. I love groups. And I love the human form. We are so sad. I love nothing but to study our idiosyncrasies, our weaknesses, our fears. Not our strengths, no, our fears. Every time I see anything, I can't go through YouTube. I can't go through TikTok. I don't watch TikTok, but they have these shorts. And I realize, look at what this is. Look at what this is. I love to watch these war shows on YouTube. Navy SEALs, Delta Force. Why are we Medal of Honor recipient? Da 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 da. Copeland fanfare for the Medal of Honor, and then Nang Trong province in 1967 for conspicuous gallantry. Sergeant Major Lance hero. And the question that nobody asks is, why was he there? What was the purpose? Shh, he's a hero. Okay, I understand he's a hero. But why was it? Don't ask that question. There's one, not Sean Ryan. Somebody said, there we were in Afghanistan and with this and Bosnia, and they were coming and they were shooting at us, and I lost my buddy, and we were SEAL Team 6 in Bud's class, and we did this, and they never say, but it was the most stupid thing we ever did. No. Gallantry. I was a part of the 82nd Airborne. I was a part of the Big Red One. I was SEALs. I was a Navy SEAL. I was a Ranger. I was Special Forces. I was a part of a uniform. I was a part of something. It's like when you see somebody who's a veteran. He's 90 years old. And he's walking around with a hat that says veteran. His life was combat. He was in a unit. It was something that made sense to him. It was the most incredible moment, but nobody ever asked him, but why were you there? It doesn't matter. We go from groups my whole life. Catholic school, wear a uniform, first communion, confession, first Fridays, confirmation, but stand. Then I went to a team. What's the name of your team? We had the name of a team. We were the Tigers. We're going to go to a pep rally. We're a part of a team. Let's all roll. Yay! And you're a Democrat, and you're a Republican, then you're straight, then you're gay, then you're non-binary, then you're a liberal, then you're a Democrat. There's no singularity. There's no, well, non-AI discussion, but there's never a moment where people are by themselves. You don't exist as a human. You're part of a group. Nobody cares about you individually. What group are you in? What is your group? Oh, you were conservative. Okay, fine. And you do this, and then as if we have not had, as though we have tapped every part and aspect of our collective beings through everything from sports to military to schools to this and that to names to. Then social media comes along. Oh my God, that was it. Then you completely lose all semblance of identity. All semblance of individuality, all semblance of critical thinking, everything. You lost everything. And I tell people this, and they don't really, I mean, they say they get it. No, they don't. The secret to life is to find out how people think in groups. How do you get people? Walk down any street, look at a restaurant. Why are there people in there versus people in there? Why did this guy win and this guy didn't? Why is this show popular and this one not? Because of what? Because of the Stones had a meeting, or had a they have Angry, I guess is their new single, their new thing. And Jimmy Fallon was in London, and they had this thing where, what's it called? The Enchanted Diamonds, or the whatever diamond. Anyway. And Mick Jagger, 80 years old. 80. And they're still. And it's the new, whatever this thing is. And yet, there are Stone, they're fans. But the recent genius was Jimmy Buffett. Parrot Head. He sold you a lifestyle, a group. You could be a part of a group. I'm into that. I'm a Parrot Head. I'm a Stones fan. Some people did it. You know, Kiss kind of did it. I want to know the group. And the thing that people have to understand is that Trump or whoever has to understand the group. What motivates you? What motivates us? Let me tell you who you are. And this is important. What's this group? First rule of the group is tell them what they want to hear. Number one, do not do what I do. Do not tell people what you think is important. Tell them what they think is important. I don't do that. I can't. I'm no good at this. The individual in me always fights against the group. I never fit in. I am the worst. I'm a subversive. You don't want me in your group. Not good. I'm the first one to go over the line or jump or go AWOL. I hate groups. Hate it. Hate it. Anything that identifies me with you. And even then, I'm always qualifying myself. Well, yeah, so you're a Trump fan? Well, there's really nobody else. Okay. But you're a Trump fan? Well, he certainly has said a lot of good things, but he's not. But I'm always, it's like, I'm not you. You're going to go to a Trump rally? No. Nope. Sorry, not interested. You want to go to no? You want to go to Anytime you put a group of people together, you lose all semblance of rational thought, and then this new thing comes over called the group. Tomorrow is going to be 9/11. This is the biggest joke anybody's ever seen. This is where I came along and I said, oh my God. So my red pill moments, yes, of course, were, Santa Claus and people deception. That's one thing. Then there's the power of the group. And the group tomorrow is going to be not so much now, but you should have been here in New York when Go back and watch the firemen at Madison Square Garden. Watch that night. Watch that night. Watch that. Tell me what you see. What do you see there? What do they all have in common? They were rallying behind what? Now, these were Republicans. This was during the Bush administration. What were they rallying behind? The United States. Would we have that today? Nope. Absolutely not. Would we have Pat Tillman? I thought this was one of the best storylines ever. Fell flat. People don't like. Second rule, do not ask people to think. Do not put out a video, an essay, a post. Do not ask people to think. Remember, people want it given to them. They sit back in a chair or beanbag chair and everything comes to them. People dancing, people jumping, people. That's what they want. They don't want to think. They don't want to think. Let me stop right there just for a second because this is important too. I was talking to a friend and we were looking at various things, and the result, what am I trying to say? Hang on a minute. The response to this, to my Patriot Supply, has been through the roof. Why? Because people recognize the fact that there are some very scary things happening. Very, very. Do you see Morocco? Well, that's not. Okay, fine. New Hurricane Lee coming? Well, that's fine. West Coast hurricanes? Fires? We'll get to the fires in a moment. Everybody here in this group recognizes the following. That what used to be considered impossible is today, we start off with this premise. Preparewithlionel.com deals with a reality that you know is going to happen. There is going to be some catastrophic event to push. And what we have not had massive power outages, blackouts, water shortages. Oh, you don't even know what that one's going to be like. That gets really dangerous. And food. But the food's going to be hidden as something else. See, what they're going to do is they're going to tell you, there's no food shortage. It's getting the food to you that's a shortage. See, this isn't, Ukraine and we can't get the grain. No. These are in some warehouse someplace. We just can't get them to you. Supply chain breakdowns. Malware, ransomware, some strike, inclement weather, stores closed, unrest, rioting, whatever. Some executive order, something that goes wrong, or my favorite, I love this in Florida. They said we have contamination in the oil and the fuel lines because diesel has now contaminated regular gas. So we can't combine the two. And if it does, it'll ruin your car. So you can't don't get gas because it's contaminated. And people say, well, okay. He goes, I can't believe it. They didn't know. They believe this. So listen to what I'm saying. There will be food shortages, but they're going to say, oh, no, there's food. We just can't get it to you. The store's closed. Trucks aren't running. They're on strike. See? Oh, so don't feel bad. There's food. Where do we get the food? That's a bit of a story. What do we do? I don't know. Can we call the Department of Transportation? Who? Booty Giggity? Come on. Have you seen him? He's AWOL. He's gone. His office, he hasn't been in his office for I don't know how long. He's gone. You don't even hear his name anymore. The Department of Transportation. Nowhere to be found. Nobody even brings his name up. Nobody does. Left, right, because they're all in cahoots. Preparewithlionel.com. Right now you get $200 off a 3-month emergency food kit. This is a 25-year shelf life, 21 varieties, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, drinks, you name it. 120 pounds of food in 6 plastic bucket water resistant, beautiful modular, stack them up gorgeously. They just look perfect. They're in the corner. 120 pounds of food. And you cannot replicate this on your own. You can try to go into you can try to say, okay, let's put here's our supply. Here's some macaroni. Here's some spaghetti sauce. What else? Any perishable? Good. You try that with 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That's minimum. This is for 3 months. And you should have one of these per person. And what's happened is the reason why they are selling like crazy is because people are saying, I got it. You don't have to sell me on this. Preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. That's it. Cannot say it enough. Preparewithlionel.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that simple. Preparewithlionel.com. And I wish to God we didn't have to sell this stuff, but we do. Because that's the way that is. Preparewithlionel.com. Now, I want to go back to this Trump business, and I want you to understand this thing, and I want you to always stop and think, and I recognize this fact, and I want you to understand this. I understand none of you want to discuss this. I get it, but this is my show, and I love this, and I'm going to do what interests me, and I'm not going to read headlines all day and talk about what they do on Fox and just repeat a headline. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I know this is tough to do, and I know it's kind of what you're used to, but I can't do it. And I can't do it. And the reason why I can't do it is I'm just not able to do the same nonsense that everybody does on a regular basis. I can't. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why it is. I don't know why I don't fit in. I've never fit in. I don't like these people. I don't like these people. I don't want to talk about the usual stuff. I will tell you one thing. For example, yesterday there was a story that said that, in fact, I talk about it on my private channel. Gavin Newsom said, I'm not running. He's such a liar. I love lying. There are liars. Not all liars are psychopaths, but all psychopaths are lying. And that's what I want to talk to you about. Now, tomorrow, 9/11, forget all of this. And I also want to tell you something about what happened to me. Okay, so going back to my life story, which is very important. Santa Claus, church, Catholic church, a lot of group mentality. Amway, Ernest Angley, seeing how this works, watching sports, watching concerts, going to a wedding and watching rational people all of a sudden get very tribal, and that is very interesting. Tribalism, nativism, that which is atavistic, that which is in us, what makes us kind of, there is some weird stuff about fire, barbecue, fire pits. There really is something to that. There's something about that. There's something also about groups and God and nature, and you can't figure things out. I'm getting back into these debates with Berlinski and others about how intelligent design and God, they are fighting back. And he, by the way, is not a believer, but he's wonderful because he's such a curmudgeon, and he's fighting against the usual suspects, the whatever. There's also a big fight going on against the string theorists, and I love contrarians. I've always loved people who fought back and said, no. There's a fellow named Dr. Mercola that everybody can't stand. I love the guy because everybody can't stand him. I love it. Anybody who stands up. So 9/11 was the first time. This was 2001, and the internet was pretty new at the time. Pretty new. And there were no holds barred, no nothing. And it was a time when Alex came along and it was fantastic. And a lot of people started to say, we're not sure about this 9/11 story. And this is where I said, what? Brand new to this thing. Okay. So, I guess what, 43? I guess, yeah. And I thought I saw everything. I knew everything. Well, what do you mean? I mean, I kind of knew Kennedy stuff, but there was this brilliant group of people who were so methodical in questioning the evidence. It was fascinating. And they didn't necessarily say who is attributable to what, but they noticed some things. And then all of a sudden, they rose and they were gaining steam, and it was fascinating. And I'll never forget, I was doing something on the air, and it just happened. I told you the story. And somebody said, if it turns out it was Flight 93 in Shanksville. The Shanksville, let's roll, Todd Beamer, let's roll. I said, and I didn't know the numbers yet. 93. I said, just a minute. So I'm looking at Google Images. They said, the plane wreck. I said, yeah. I'm looking for the pictures. I don't see it. I said, well, I'll see this. I said, where's the plane? And I said this on the air, just looking because I'm looking for the pictures. Maybe there's one you can direct me to, because I'm not seeing any plane here. This is in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. And the caller said, I'll never forget this. What are you getting at? And that was like that was really the red pill. That was it. 9/11 that was a moment. And women, what? What are you getting at? What am I getting at? I'm asking a question. I'm a former prosecutor. I'm law trained. Where's the evidence? There was a murder here. Where's the evidence? Where's the blood splatter? You got a confession? This is what we do. This is what normal people rationally do. Where's the evidence? What are you talking about? This is unlike JFK. Oh, there's the evidence. You want to see the evidence? Okay, I got the evidence. Normally, whenever there's something that happens, you don't have to ask, well, where is it? I asked the question, so where is it? Where's the plane? Just this one, just a lot of moving parts to it. But this one question, so where is it? Where's the plane? What are you getting at? Are you questioning the official story? I said, the official story of what? This just started. That was the red pill moment. And I thought, I like this. So if I ask a question, you're telling me I can, okay. Now this is the 1960s, 1970s Jesuit high school, always questioning, smart ass, me kicking in. This is real me here. Oh, so you're saying if okay. And everything, I remember one time in Catholic school, somebody said, the Immaculate Conception does not mean that Mary did not have sex. It means that she was born without original sin. What are you getting at? Ooh, I like this. Because people always think that Joseph and Mary never had sex. That's not what it means. And I'm telling priests this. They didn't like that. Now it's all kicking in. Oh, okay. I got it. And I'm feeling at home now. Oh, good. Because you only take flack when you're over the target. And when somebody says something, you're onto something. If you say something that's unimportant, nobody will say anything. Nobody will care about what you say. Remember that. They only care when you ask something that's critical. We're off to the races. There is so much to the 9/11 official story as to how it was handled, the story, the data, the official account. It is more than anything. I can tell you to this day, I can tell you what the official account is. But just as in the case of Kennedy, both Kennedys, Martin Luther King, Vietnam, we kind of know, but I can't tell you who ordered what, who did what, why, no. Inside job, can't say that. It was Bush and Cheney involved, can't say that. Nope, can't say that. Because as much as I'm a stickler for detail, I can't say that. There's no evidence of that. There's some suspicion, and that's when I realized, people confuse suspicion with fact. I did the directed energy weapon story is still going strong regarding Lahaina. Global Research did a story, he reprinted somebody, and he talks about, and he does these things on Tesla waves, but there's never a connection. There's never. Always think of yourself. You're standing before a jury. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, please find beyond a reasonable doubt that we prove such and such. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the CIA in Russia has been involved in mind experimentation and killing through thought for years. Blah, blah, blah. Are you suggesting that? Yes. Any proof? No. But there have been studies about it. Directed energy weapons have and here's a picture of a directed energy weapon. And do you have any proof of that? Well, look at this. Fires don't burn like that. Who are you? Well, who am I? I have a website. I'm an expert. This is my thing. I have 1 million followers. Why don't fires burn like that? Because they don't. Who says that? Well, I say that. No, I know who. Why do you? Who are you? I'm Todd Yablinski. This is my website. It's called Patriot Freedom. I'm into false flag and. Well, how come it burned there and not here? Why didn't the fire spread? That's the question, not why it hit. Why didn't it spread? Fires spread. So is there a retardant around this thing? So they shoot the chemical laser and then they spray it with this asbestos foam so that this fire contains. There was a story of Lahaina, one, and they're showing an old picture of something like that. Thinking, oh no. I gotta tell you the story. 5th anniversary of 9/11. I was downtown. Right there. And happened to be, working around there at the time. So I'm standing there. And Alex was there and people are yelling. And I realized, oh my God, these people are crazy. And remember, whenever people wear buttons or t-shirts, I'm sorry, you put a t-shirt on somebody and they go nuts. Put a button on them, they go even crazier. I've been to some crazy things. Knife shows, oh yeah. Amway rallies, and this. And they come, and MUFON, UFO things. Really scary. Not that they're wrong. Remember the SCTV thing? Sure, he's crazy, but what if he's right? And there's a fellow, they had these people who said that the planes, whatever those objects were that flew in, they were holograms. They weren't real. There was no plane. I said, okay, that's it. I'm out of here. Alrighty. And they have these brave firefighters who say, we want answers. They want answers because they were told to go back in. There are people who died of the most horrible of cancers. They were told. Chrissy Todd Whitman, who was EPA head, who was the governor of New Jersey, said, coast is clear. They were there, family members, standing next to a guy with a big button that says, it was an inside job, and the planes were holograms. And I'm thinking, oh no. You stand over here, you go away. You're killing the cause. Let me tell you what I would do in my movie. Let's say I hear there's a Biden rally. You're not going to have a Biden rally. You're never going to see a Biden rally ever again anywhere for the rest of eternity because he's going to be gone pretty soon. It's going to be Gavin Newsom. But let's assume there was in my movie. I'd say, okay, watch what I do. Remember, I'm in charge of the special ops, my special ops. I say, watch what happens. I'm going to recruit a group of people that I have handy. I'm not going to tell you where I got them. We're going to have t-shirts and signs that say that they are Biden supporters because they believe that Biden is an extraterrestrial visitor who has superhuman powers. And he is blah, blah, blah. And they're going to show up, a bunch of them with signs clapping because they believe that Biden is a superhuman from another planet, whatever. It's okay, fine. All of them, agent provocateur, all of them crazy people, but I brought them. They don't know why they're there. They were offered pizza. If you ask any of them, they don't know where they're from. This happens all the time. Okay. You got it? Okay, good. Then I'm going to pick up the phone and assuming Fox News was worth its salt or Newsmax or whatever, I'm going to say, make sure you get your pictures of those people, okay? Make sure you and talk to them. Make sure you get them on camera. They're going to be there. They're in the front. They're going to claim that they believe that Biden is from another planet and he's the sun god and he is, okay, you got it? Okay, good. Talk to him. Then Monday, we're going to go in and we're going to tell people that in our own form of media that we own, let's assume it was switched, that Biden people are crazy. Biden fans are crazy. These people believe that Joe Biden is the avatar of some deity or whatever. And then every time somebody's on TV, we go to ask Corinne Jean-Pierre, and Peter Ducey says, yes, Corinne, what do you have to think about the Biden fans who believe that he is the contingent or the avatar of a Hindu or Zoroastrian deity from another planet? And she says, I don't know what you're talking about. And then we keep, you're not one of those Biden extraterrestrial folks, are you? No. Then we call it a conspiracy theory. Then I pick up the phone and I tell Elon, crank up that hashtag I told you. Hashtag Biden extraterrestrial, whatever it is. Spread it. Hit some bots, send them out. Next, I say it's a conspiracy theory. Next, somebody does something really bad, something awful, and we can make that happen either because we know it happened on purpose, let it happen on purpose, make it happen on purpose, whatever it is. And when they're arrested, they're going to say, I did this because Joe Biden is such and such, or whatever it is. And now we connect this thing that we created out of the blue. You can call it a LARP. You can call it whatever you want. We created it out of the blue. And some people might have been half-hearted into it. Like, yeah, it's kind of funny. That's okay. That's not the point. We create this, and then we just keep expanding it. And pretty soon, we go after this, and we just... And then everybody who's ever forwarded that hashtag, they get shut down. They get shadow banned. They get canned because they're promoting hate. And then we get to Wikipedia and we see, make sure you add this group of people. You know, the hashtag got it. And we just create this out of nowhere. And we say, who is this? I did that. I did that. There weren't these people. They don't exist. 2 people may have thought it. 2 may have said it. But then here's the best part. Now that it's out there, people start getting attracted to it. They'll say, whoa, count us in. What? This is kind of neat. We really believe that. What? We believe that. You believe he was a... No. We were kidding. Oh, no. And people will come out. Why? Let me go back to square one. Amway, Ernest Angley, religion, sports, groups. People lose their identity. They pulled into it. They love the ceremony, the pageantry, the uniform, the identity, the new friends, the pizza parties. It's easy. I've been watching this my whole life. You can get people to do anything. Anything. And then what you do is you take social media and you artificially make it out to be... If we, our side, ran the show, we could take people who say, well, I think Joe's doing just great. And we're going to call them dementia deniers. And we'll give them like double D's, DDs, or whatever it is. And we'll DDs for Biden. And we can create movements out of the deniers. And then we'll get people who say, we are not going to help our cause. These are people with dementia. They'll come out of unless we recognize that you're putting them on display, and we're offended by this. Now I've got this new group. I got the people who are the fifth dementia, the dementia deniers, and they come forward. And then we build them up artificially. And as soon as I provide the most minimal of pushes, people will join like you can't believe. Why? Because they like groups. Amway, soccer, football, teams, Ernest Angley, religion, evangelical, Woodstock. They love this. It's just who humans are. You've got to understand this. And what is Trump doing to take his group and spread it? Nothing. Wait till you see what Gavin Newsom does. Oh, they'll show you a thing or two. Now, before I forget, tell me who saw the great, who saw the great Mike Lindell? Who saw him in this depot where he said, I've had enough of you? Maybe not the best move. Maybe again, a bit contumacious. Not exactly what I would suggest for a client. My favorite. Mike Lindell, did you see that? It's wonderful. Sadie saw it. It was great. Sadie, didn't you? Haven't you always wanted to say that? Sadie, it was fantastic. And for no other reason, go to mypillow.com, promo code Lionel, say thanks, Mike, and buy everything they have, promo code Lionel. Only promo code Lionel. Oh, there's these other radio shows. Promo code, no. Promo code Lionel. I love that guy. You know why? Because he said it. He said it. MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel. Look at what's available. Look at the sales. Look at great products. I told you, my favorite is these little tiny mini pillows you put there just to like fine tune the MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel. And now, by the way, you can do these things. I love people who say, I believe there was a bolt of lightning on 9/11. Okay. Well, you're entitled to your opinion. Anyway, dear friends, oh, dear God. Well, listen, I hope everybody has a great and a glorious day. I really do. I really, 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 really mean it. I hope you have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much for everything that you've done. And don't forget our good friends at mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. And don't forget, wait a minute. Oh, look at this. Here comes Sparky. Sparky says, my Vietnam vet uncle knows I'm into geopolitics. Recently asked me why the U.S. was in Vietnam. It still isn't common knowledge. Oh, Sparky, I'd love to talk about that. I would love to talk about that. Oh, my God. Sparky, I want you to understand something. Think about what causes cancer. Why is there pediatric? Years ago, at the turn of the century, turn of the 20th century, you couldn't find a kid with cancer. There might be a leukemia. And now we have pediatric wards at, Sloan Kettering. Why? Pediatric oncology. Why? Brain. Why? It's a fascinating story about how things move. Murmurations, crowds, Sparky, crowds. Post-OSS crowd. New Vietnam. What are we going to do? We got to stop the commies. We got to, and it just starts moving, and it's beautiful. But understand, from your uncle's point of view, he never got the respect he deserved, and that's why we should respect the veterans. Vis-a-vis, from their point of view, they did not have anything to do with this. They went to do a job, and what did we do? We forgot them. Let me tell you something else, also, Sparky. Anybody who goes there, and what some people do, the horrible things they did sometimes to villagers, you're damn right that's what they do. When you take an 18, 19-year-old kid and you put him in a situation like this and you turn him into a savage, that's what happens. Mm-hmm. That's what happens. Sorry. And no training and no PT and no, obstacle course at Fort Benning is going to prevent somebody. Why? Because you're in a group. You're in Vietnam. Some people said they never saw the enemy. They saw maybe dead. You're losing people with booby traps and with snipers. You're wondering, what the hell's going on here? And you come across some village and you say, you're doing it. I remember one time they said they walked into now, mind you, the villagers are thinking, wait a minute, hold it. You came here. There's 3 sides of a story. They walked in one time and there was some little hamlet or something. They walked into this hut, this hooch, Mama San, whatever was there. All these, listen to me, these movies, phrases I'm using. And they said, what's going on here? And they remember when they kept turning things over, you say, why are they messing everything up? And they turned it over and they said, They had like 30 pounds of rice or something. They said, you're feeding the VC. That's what this is. You're enabling them. And the woman says, yeah, I'm enabling because if I don't do it, they'll kill me. Okay, they got a good point of view. But the point is that unless you're there and you've picked up your friends and you put them into bags and you're. So that's why, as horrible as this is, on my watch, they get a pass. Sorry, I took you, pulled you out of your world, 18 years old, sent you over there, made you a killer, and then when you killed him, it's like, you went too far. Now, granted, there are exceptions to that. But me lie? Have you ever heard them speak about me? How did they do that? Why did they do that? Listen to what they have to say. Groups. They lost their mind. They were in the group. So you thank your uncle for me, Sparky. Thank him for me, okay? And don't forget, friends, as I've told you, there are more people. My Pillow, of course. Preparewithlionel.com. See, in the old days, it was saying, well, are you saying there's not going to be any food because we're going to run out of food? Why are you questioning me? You're just not going to be able to get it. Who cares why? Climate change, global warming, some infestation of some cicada. I don't know. But I'm promising you that you ain't going to have food. There's going to be periods of time where stores are closed. Shelves are empty. Trucks aren't running. Trains aren't running. Part of the destabilization, I don't have to tell you that. You know that. Preparewithlionel.com. Save $200 off a 3-month emergency food kit. All right, dear friends. We'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Have a great and glorious day. Oh, by the way, I told you last time we had a date night. So my big fat Greek wedding 3, you know what? It was mindless. It was cute. And there were 2 gratuitous references to non-binary and migrants. But it was like mild. They had to do something. But you know what? And Joey Fatone, what was he? Backstreet Boys is the Brando. Plays Cousin Angelo, is the Brando of our society. Joey Fatone might be the greatest actor alive today. Extreme, perhaps. All right, dear friends, don't ever change your meaning that sincerely. Have a great and glorious day. See you tonight, 7 p.m. But don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Dead.